You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
James.
James! It's you and me. The man, the white, and the white. So, boy, that's... All right, well, we're season 1, episode 3.
Of Southland. I mean, Westworld.
Southland? Is that the... I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Is that the Rocky Balboa cop movie? Oh, that's Copland.
Copland, yeah.
No. Season 1, episode 3, The Stray. Mm-hmm. We just finished watching it. It's great. I enjoyed this episode. Had a fun time, but I want to warn people before we get to the screenshots. Spoilers. We're going to ruin it. So, I got to say it up front so people don't get their underoos in a bind. Other than that, anything?
No, let's get into it.
Fucking do this. So, here it is. Opening logo. Everybody knows that thing. Black. Okay, that's the guy. All right. We're back on to Dolores Abernathy. I couldn't even say her name right. We pull back. She's got that dead robot, face going on. And Bernard walks in and he tells her to wake up and says, "Get your shit together, lady." And he starts talking to her. Now, James, I thought that we had already seen this exact scene because the first thing he does is confirm that no one's messed with her. He goes, "Have you had any previous conversations?"
Yeah, so it kind of implies that he's been having a lot of conversations with her, kind of behind the curtain. No one really needs to know about this. It's unofficial. He asks that nobody... that she not disclose these meetings to anyone else, and so forth.
And so he's looking for something, or he's doing things. And I think actually by the end of this episode, we have a much stronger idea of what he's up to.
Right.
So it's actually, I thought this episode had a lot of reveal, a lot of good, push things forward really well, I felt.
And I think he's taken it a little bit too far. It's almost as though in his mind, these creations are becoming human to him. He's not considering them as much to be robots as, say, Dr. Ford or the other techs do.
Right.
So at this point, he hands her a gift.
Yes. So he gives her this book, and she opens it up. By the way, I like the paper packaging. I feel like that has a nice old-timey feel to it. It's kind of like getting hipster beer. Okay, so there it is. And then guess what? It is a hipster book. Old-timey Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I thought her last name was Adventures there for a second. I was like, what? By Lewis Carroll. So they open it. He pulls up a passage and makes her read it. You guys saw the thing. Dear, she goes right into it. How queer is everything yesterday. Things. So it's all about what is real, right? Like, have things changed since, because Alice in Wonderland is about a woman in her blue dress who goes on her own journey down a hole of existential crises, right, James?
Exactly.
Thank you.
And he asks her, does this mean anything to you? Does this have any deeper consequences to you when you hear it?
Right. And she doesn't, what does she say? Do you recall exactly?
She says something along the lines of, I believe it's about change, and this seems to be a theme that you're doing with me, because apparently this is not the first time he's had her read a book, and it seems like he's trying to make her understand that things may be happening on a larger scale than she's aware of around her.
Yeah, that's right. And then she turns the page and reads some more, and then she looks at it, and, that's exactly kind of what James just said. This whole sequence was a little too on the nose.
Yeah,
it seems good.
Oh, it seems like a lot of times if you're trying to write something well, you want to say the important messages in the subtext of what isn't said, as opposed to just, like you said, completely on the nose.
That's why when I forget important details, that's what's important, because it's what I'm not saying.
Yeah, this makes it a little bit too obvious what his goal is, what his point is.
But they stayed on message, so they kind of set up the theme with this Alice in Wonderland book passage, and then they really explored it, which I appreciate. Sometimes these big shows get a little scattered, and
in a way this whole episode is kind of going down what happens when you go down the rabbit hole of subconsciousness and reality, and who is a person, who isn't.
If I were writing a term paper for this episode, it would be about backstory. That seemed to me to be the big theme of almost everybody. You learn a lot of backstory, what the meaning of backstory, how it influences current story and possible future story. All right, so we cut back to the world. She's waking up in her bed. She's just a little groggy there, but that's another day with the pretty hair, and she's out another day on the planet. There's Daddy Mustache.
His replacement daddy.
Yep, there he is with his pipe. Look at that. God, can you imagine having a dad who smoked a pipe?
No.
Ugh. Bad enough my dad smoked crack. So there he is. He opens it up. Beautiful day on the ranch. These are real cows, right?
Those are robotic cows.
Those are robot cows. That's what I mean, but they're real robot cows.
Yeah.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah, for filming real cows.
There's a whole spin-off. Spin-off where there's all the same story, except it's just about people who like fucking cows. And then the brunette chick goes up and makes out with one of them. And what, you have no comment?
I mean, HBO will go a little far, but I think that's a bit too far.
All right, so she's doing her daily chores. James, it's HBO. Okay, look where our society is going anyway. It's about time we had a show dedicated to fucking cows.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you could. Okay,
Isn't that, they already have that? There's the show called Girls.
Oh my God!
Hey, I
Whoa,
went there.
James went deep.
Hey.
Oh, I was gonna make a joke about Guy Fieri. All right, so she's doing her chores and she opens a drawer, and what does she find? A little raggy with the big old fucking gun.
Is the gun that was buried in the prior episode.
Yep, dirty old gun.
Yep.
Looks like a zombie gun. It's got the patina all fucked up and shit, and there it is. Look at that creepy doll back there, huh?
No.
Ooh.
What was that?
Gonna be sleep talking about that fucking thing later. So she's wondering, like, what the hell? Why do I have a gun? But it's triggering to her in a little way, and so she's kind of like, okay. So she closes it up, but then she has this kooky memory. She also seems to be triggered by looking at herself. You know that thing? You ever stare at the mirror with your eyes?
Well, it's hard without doing it with your eyes, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying, into your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, this happened to her before when she was
you.
looking.
I want to
me?
know, yeah.
Yeah.
Does
I stare at myself all the time.
No, like where you really look into your eyes and you go, I can't fucking believe this is my life. I can't believe I'm alive.
Not particularly.
I do that at least once a day. So there she has this memory, though, of being dragged off to be Ed Harris's victim on a pile of hay. Okay. And, you know, he throws her into the hay. This is all in her, like, little flashback as she's staring at herself in the mirror. And, of course, he's evil and got the evil clothes on and stuff. And she's like, no, shit. And he's like, yo, girl, how about we do... I forget what he says. He says some creepy, evil shit.
Yeah, how about we get reacquainted? And he pulls out his knife.
Yeah, the big, ugly... Look at that thing.
And it just occurred to me later on in the episode...
That's not a knife. That's a spork.
Someone looks at her and says, how about we go on the hayride? I think this is what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's ugly. I don't think I would have sex in hay. Like,
it's very itchy.
Yeah, but like it'd be better than sand. I think beach sex looks horrible. Now, I would do that too because it's still better than sleeping alone. But hay sex, all right. You know what? It would be fine. It's easy to clean off, and you don't get diseases from the hay at least.
Yeah, but
so all right. So she goes on. This is her in the mirror again. She's kind of like, what the hell? She's sort of having these weird little memories. Maybe
right.
what would we call them? A reverie, maybe
something like that. But the important thing is that when she looks back in the drawer, the gun is no longer there. So it's that the gun in itself was a memory from a past day or a past loop, as you might call it.
Okay, so maybe what she did was in the previous where she found the gun, she actually wrapped it up and put it in the drawer, and then they went and removed it or something like that. Could that be what happened? Is why
that's what I'm thinking happened.
Because for some reason she's connecting this drawer to the gun, obviously.
Right.
So.
And I think that Bernard put that loop in underneath, basically going behind the scenes to throw that in to give her a little memory that she's not supposed to have. To see if he can trigger her to do something that's beyond her programming later on.
So do you think, okay, but does that dispel the theory that the gun was like given to her because it'll kill humans?
I think I still have a thought about that, and we'll get to that a little bit later on.
But that could be, there's a lot more gun stuff up. That's an interesting thing because it could be a little bit more layered than what that theory would have suggested. So, all right, so go, Daddy, you gotta go do my chores. I don't know if that's what happens, but she leaves. Now we're in town. Boom. Hey, it's the guy that looks like the guy from Lost. William. Who am I thinking of? The Lost guy.
He's one of the... you're thinking of Jacob.
Jacob from
Lost. He
Lost.
doesn't really look like it. He did play one of the like weird brothers on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, when rich people don't shave that fucking growths off their faces, I always wonder. I'm poor. That's why I have growths all over my face.
Maybe he had it surgically put there for character.
Christian Bale is the ultimate example. He's got a skin tag the size of an ant's butthole. Wait, no.
That's not very big.
An ant's thorax sticking out of his eye socket. And if you see it in every movie he's in, that's all you can stare at. Plus, you think in Batman they had to like get extra paint for the skin? Okay.
I've never noticed that.
It's gross. It's gross. Google Christian Bale's eye skin. It's fucking disgusting. Okay, so anyways, this guy's here. He is running around, and he's like walking through town. Kind of a normal day. There's her. Do you know her name?
I don't quite recall it.
Yeah.
It's like something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anne of Pink Gables. And there he is. He's like, hey, ma'am, how you doing? Having a whore doing a boom. And people are walking by. He's just sort of taking it in.
Yeah,
he's just
kind
enjoying the scenery.
Exploring the Western world.
That's how I like to play video games, too. I kind of like to get immersed. This guy comes smacking in because a hero has charged him forward. I'm going to back up again here, though. Just his face. That's the guy. So they're collecting bounties. Bounties are huge. One of the more common video game missions, too.
Best way to level up.
Best way to level up. You're just grinding out experience points, hoping for some sweet drops, some good loot. And, of course, he's taken off by it. And this guy is kind of a big, tough guy, the one that brought in the bad guy. So he's kind of looking around. There's different names. They got all evil names like Jasper Hewitt and Slim Miller. And this guy's Scott Jones, a.k.a. Jonesy, which is a good name. I would have nicknamed him Scotty. Come on, lazy bastards. And then all of a sudden, the dude goes, he tells another guy, take him inside and get my pay. And he walks off. But as he's looking at the signs, the guy gets thrown out the window. Crash. Ow,
so this
my window.
A scripted scenario that he's found himself face to face with.
Staggered right into the middle of this. Yeah, this is what do they call this? This is not a quick time event. This is a
side quest.
No, not a side quest. Just scripted.
Scripted,
I guess.
Yeah.
There's a word I'm thinking of though. It's not coming up. Cutscene. We're doing video game talk here, everybody. It is a video game channel, by the way. Okay, so there the guy, this guy comes off awkwardly, gets off the horse. I was like, oh, did that actor fuck up? He just happened to not get hurt. The horse goes down. Horses are good actors, I gotta say. When they make them lay down and stuff, you're like, damn, I couldn't do that. And then this guy just starts blasting everybody. He starts going, pow, pow, take that. And she's like, oh no, boom, guns everywhere. And he's like, oh god.
But you notice the other guy there, he has no incentive not to shoot.
Who are you talking about?
The guy we're looking at right now. No, that guy.
This guy?
So he has absolutely no incentive not to shoot because the guy hasn't taken a hostage or anything yet. But he's programmed not to because the other guy is right behind him. So he wants to give the other guy a chance to be the hero.
And we're completely certain that they're all hosts.
Yeah, pretty darn sure.
Yeah, it's a safe assumption.
Because there's no reason he wouldn't shoot at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I see. You're saying a newcomer would have started shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, except for our hero guy, William. He doesn't quite know. He doesn't have the heart for it, or he's just kind of not fully invested in in taking the risks necessary for this world, and he's kind of here, not against his will, but hesitation because his buddy dragged him there.
Yeah, he still hasn't been broken into the world yet. He's still the naive, kind, white hat guy.
Like when you drive a car, but you get a new car, but you're afraid to use the cup holders.
Yes.
So there he is. He's like, okay, all right, this is fucked up. And then the guy, the evil guy did. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So he puts his arms around her. It was actually kind of funny because his hands are tied up.
Yeah, so he eventually takes a hostage.
But he does it. He has to like lift his arms up and like kind of hook him over like he's doing a basketball hoop around her a little bit. It was kind of funny. I don't know why that just stood out to me. So he's like, okay, this is getting a little intense now. He's got the pretty girl who we've seen before. She's got the big Secrets of Nim face, and we're gonna have to save her. And he gets ready. He's going to do something about it. He's like, no, either
I was thinking at this point that he was going to shoot right as the guy turned around and he would hit the woman.
Oh.
And that would create a moral dilemma for him.
Funny. I expected him to hit the guy. I just assumed it'd be one of those, like, you expect him to hit the woman, so therefore he's going to nail the guy. But that'll be the hero. That's what will trigger him to be like, oh, fuck, this feels good.
Yeah.
I want more. Instead, he hesitates a little too long, and the bad guy spins around and blasts him. Oh, my torso.
Yeah, and that took me by surprise because we've seen from Ed Harris's perspective, when he gets shot, it doesn't affect him whatsoever. A little puff of smoke comes off him, but he doesn't recoil or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I didn't quite... Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I put that together after his friend came up in a little bit. So he's down, and she, what does she do? Wiggle loose there, I guess? I guess that's what the hostages do. It's pretty much your only move when you're a hostage. You can either step on their toe, elbow them in the ribs, get them in the balls somehow, or wiggle loose.
Yeah, and he makes a very crude comment at this point.
What does he say?
Say
it.
Very crude.
Whisper it in my ear.
Referencing the liquidity of clams and
stuff.
Oh yeah,
like you're probably as squishy as a freshwater clam, or juicy. Juicy. James, I've been eating clams lately in my effort to try to get healthy because I'm
disgusting.
It's good protein, and I'm working out more. I think my tits are getting a little stronger. Yeah. And so then, guess what happens? Bang, bang! Look at that. There it is. There's the exit wound. He gets shot. He gets what he deserves. Timothy Treadwell dies. That's a reference to Grizzly Man, because this guy looks like...
I was wondering, I remember that was his name on the poster.
No, the movie Grizzly Man, you know?
I've never seen that.
The fruitcake with the bears.
Oh,
and
the guy, the documentary guy who was... Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he gets eaten by the bears.
Yes.
I mean, it's a sad movie. Werner Herzog made it. He was eaten by a bear who shat out human diarrhea for 13 miserable days. James is laughing, trying to laugh loud.
No,
fuck face.
I like that.
I do a good Werner. All right, so boom, we got him. This is called Fighting Back, and this guy's called
Prospector Joe.
Not late for dinner. Prospector Joe.
Is that a beard or is that just a handkerchief?
That's a handkerchief. That's a hanky.
Okay.
It could be one of those Amish beards where they trim the sweet line, you know?
I think in the next shot it's pretty obvious it's a handkerchief.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, there it is, yeah. It's a whole different guy, I think. That's Santa's brother, Dave Claus. So, by the way, Dave Claus would be a good name for a cat. Because he's got claws.
Yeah.
So there you go. Boom. We did it. He experienced the thrill of rescue, the thrill of violence, the thrill of stepping up and doing the right thing.
But he hasn't gone completely off the rails because she propositions him, says, for an act of heroism, you deserve a freebie or a discount or something.
She goes, let me show you my gratitude.
Yeah, and he turns her down.
Yeah, and he's like, no, come on, get out of here. And this guy comes up and goes, hey, we're looking to run up another posse hunting crew. You gonna come with us and shoot some fuckers? He's got one of those old-timey rolled up cigarettes. Cigarettes used to be all unique because they weren't mass manufactured.
You had to roll your own.
That's right. That's why they were called the snowflakes of tobacco.
Yes.
So she tries to get him to go give him a happy ending, and he's like, "No, I'm good. It's just not. I'm not ready for that shit." And that's probably how. Okay. So she goes for it anyway, and he's whatever. She's fine. She'll get over it.
And he comes back adjusting a part of himself that tells you that he's been screwing around again.
Yes, he's been putting the old lobster tail in the butter.
Sure.
He's been dumpster diving. I don't know what you want to say. He's been fucking chicks. So there he goes. He's looks at her. It would probably dudes. So he's been fucking everybody. He's having a great time. Look at him. He's smiling. He's like, I look like young Keanu Reeves. What else could go wrong? I mean. Right. I don't know. So he goes, all right, dude, wow, look at you. You're having fun. And this is where we learned about the bullet impact.
Yeah, but he was really impressed by his friends. Like, you finally,
Yeah,
you finally did it. You finally actually took action.
You finally ate a funnel cake.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's like, I didn't know I could get hit. He's like, yeah, no, you don't get shot, but it still pushes.
Well, you don't get killed.
Yeah, you won't get killed. So it's basically like getting hit by a paintball.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Exactly. So he had kind of a mark.
Some bruising. And you think that over time, that because Ed Harris, was Ed Harris experiencing the same level of impact, but he just was so into it that he didn't feel it?
No, I think Ed Harris has extra powers. Remember, they're like, that client gets everything he wants or whatever. So Ed Harris has paid for the upgrades. He's got the platinum package. Ed Harris ain't flying in on Spirit fucking Airlines.
Yeah. But the cool thing about this is that this experience that he had, the white hat guy, has kind of pushed him to the point where he wants to go out and have a venture now. It's kind of stoked the fire for him, saying that now I want to go out and do something.
Yes, and in fact, his friend actually says, let's go hump some chicks or something, right? And he's like, we'll do it. And he goes, no, I want to go look for Slim Miller. Got to earn me a good $350 arrows. So, he's kind of into it now. He's kind of wanting to play the game finally. So that's good. Maybe we'll see. Obviously, he's going to be a big actor in his show.
Yeah.
So he doesn't do it. He just, it's not for it. He's like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind is that people who commented on our last walkthrough, or last talk-through, I guess we could call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
Is that the assumption was these guys were in the past. That this was a timeline that was happening far before the events of the present.
Oh, really? We don't believe that now.
Well, by the end of the episode, I don't think that's the case anymore, but I had that in mind the whole time I was watching this.
I got to read all the comments. Sometimes I miss them. I get too busy with life and sadness and stuff. So there he goes. I never even would have occurred to me. Even though I did think that another thing was a flashback.
Well, the person said this.
No, I did think this was a flashback. I was the one that came up with that idea.
You did say that as well, but the person was saying that, like, initially when they go up the escalator, they were saying that the logo at the top of the escalator was different from the logo that you see now, which would imply that this was an older iteration of events that happened in Westworld.
Like the flying toaster screensaver I have nowadays is way better than the ones that used to be. It's a video of my mom. All right, there he goes. Okay, William, you go have fun.
And he's not happy about it either. He was trying to get him to go and to put it into his terms, make memories for the Spank Bank.
Oh yeah, he wanted to go make memories for the Spank Bank. I used to have a bit about that. Where I talk about banging a girl who was not from this country, and I go, turns out my Spank Bank does accept foreign currency.
Wow.
That's a long story. It was after comedy. Okay. All right, so there you go. We're back at the office here. This is the, what do we call this? The tabletop.
Mount Olympus.
This is the Dungeons and Dragons tabletop
Clash of
adventure.
the Titans.
Yeah, Clash of the Titans room. I think that's probably good. The office, hopefully not too much I have to block out. Actually, I don't think I did have to block anything out. That's such a relief. What a pain in the ass. So these two have a conversation. Bernard and I don't know. Kevin's mom from Home Alone. And
I think it was Teresa or something.
Yeah, something like that. But they're banging, they're friends. You know, they're having a good time, which is cool. But she kind of comes up and goes, "Hey, what's up with Rob Ford?" No, Bob Ford.
Yeah, Rob.
Well, Rob is. I don't want people to think we're talking about the former mayor of Toronto, the fat crack addict that died young and hard. That guy had a great life. But she goes, Dr. Ford is fucking around. He took over half the park, or he blocked off too much stuff, and it messed up half the storylines, and this is not what's going on. She wants to know what's up with it. She goes, the board.
Yeah, she's not happy with what came down when they did the launch reveal.
Well, she's conveying a message.
Right.
Yeah.
She's saying he came down to the launch. We had everything planned out. He came in and gutted our plans, said he has his own narrative, and now he's screwing things up, moving pieces on the chessboard all around and messing up our plans.
Yeah.
We need to know what's going on with him. I thought you had this taken care of. Furthermore, you told me the problems that you told me about before were solved, so why do we still have people pulling hosts out for interrogations? If something is wrong, you need to tell me now.
I love Sassy James. Hey, everybody, tell me how much you love Sassy James in the comments below. All right, so then the guy's like, all right, Jesus Christ. Okay, can we still have sex? Okay, I'll work on it. Don't worry, we're good. And so then we cut to, guess who it is? It's Trevor.
From Grand Theft Auto 5.
Stephen Ogg.
Yes.
Our favorite actor because he plays a psychopath maniac. And by the way, he's fucking cut. I think that's pretty ripped. That guy looks like he could fuck you up, right?
I'm pretty sure they would have told him in advance that he was going to need to do it. I mean, when you're an actor,
you
have. I mean, your main goal is to be camera ready.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I get it. He worked out so hard he lost his goatee, or his chin hair. I'm sorry, that was not as funny as I expected it to be. But yeah, no, he's in good shape. I don't know why I'm saying that. I think I'm jealous. I've been hiking and my ass is starting to get a little bit better, but I'm still far from him. Okay, so they're talking and. Was there anything specific with him, though? She was kind of investigating this previous mass killing that they didn't plan, where one of the guys went off the rails. Walter?
Oh, yes, Walter. And his name is Rebus. Rebus, yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So they're interrogating him because he was the last one to have an interaction with Rebus.
Yeah, as we see on this iPad here. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
And the whole point in playing this back is that she's pointing out to Bernard that this Rebus character at multiple times starts having an inner dialogue with an invisible character that's not there, who he refers to as Arnold.
Right.
And she wants to know what is going on here. Who is he talking to? What exactly is happening?
Yeah, because he's talking to somebody. He's looking like a maniac. And then he shoots 6 and he leaves 3 alive, right? Those were the numbers. By the way, also there's more milk, as everybody who watches the show knows. I have correctly predicted my theory that they love milk because they were born out of that white fluid. I'm not saying the white fluid is milk. I'm saying there are ghosts of their birth. Well, just like when I drink a bottle of amniotic fluid every morning for breakfast.
Someone in the comment section actually rephrased the white liquid in a way that I think makes a little bit more sense.
Nope, disagree.
It's basically candle wax, reforming a candle after it's been torn apart.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's essentially what they do. They patch them back together after they go through the grinder every single day, going through the normal narrative loops.
Sure, yeah, and they obviously have mastered material science where they're threading, like the machine that builds everybody with the cool kind of sinewy muscle stuff. I mean, so, and it's something to do with the white bath thing that they come out of and stuff. I mean, you know, it all works on a lot of levels, and it's probably skim milk, so they're not getting too fat off of it. So,
that was camera 27.
This is camera 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, vidlog cam 27. We got the little player here.
There's the Delos.
Yep, video log. That's actually my I have another YouTube channel where I take videos of my poops. It's called Video Log. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Put it on a Lazy Susan so you get like the 3D effect. You
spin it. Yep. And it's the world's worst game of turd. Let's just keep pushing. So Bernard's like, wow.
Was that a euphemism?
I guess so. Yes. Let's just keep squeezing this piece of poop out my butt. So there he goes. He goes fast forward. He shows him shooting the guy. It's kind of crazy. I didn't get the gun blast. It's hard to time the print screen button for that. And so she's like, what do you think, man? What the fuck? She's like, what's going on with this guy? He doesn't really know. He doesn't have much to say about it, right? I'm sure I'm forgetting something there.
I think this was the point where...
it switches to the other problem.
Yes, the other problem, I mean, I think we've already kind of covered everything that's going on in this one. So it cuts to the other problem, which is the titular problem of the episode, the stray.
Yes.
There is a host who has gone off the rails, who is running through the wilderness. They don't know what's wrong with him, but they've suggested that someone should go and check it out.
Yeah, and they're also not too concerned about it.
Yeah, so the third Hemsworth brother comes in.
By the way, real quick, I just noticed this is also camera 27.
Now that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
They forgot to update the After Effects artwork.
The camera's got a really wide lens to it.
maybe it's like Unit 27 or something. Because it's her connected. Maybe it's connected to this iPad.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, so you're right. So, but they're not too alarmed. They're like, okay, well, they're gonna...
No.
And he says to her,
business as usual.
Yeah, it's like this happens. This is like when one of the cows gets out of the pen. You got to go hunt it down. And so he's like, well, why don't you go get it? Do something that's actually in your job description because you're raising eyebrows here. We'll get in trouble. Because she's obviously sort of stepping out of her bounds a little bit, which she was a little annoyed by, but she's like, all right, fine, I'll go do it. So then we cut to James's favorite man, the older brother of the Helmsworth Handsome brothers. This, you're doing pretty good genetically when this is the ugly one.
Yeah, and I do this every episode, and I forget to mention something before, but the two people who are coming in, the two newcomers, the white hat and the black hat.
Yeah.
I should mention that at one point in the prior dialogue, the black hat guy looks at the white hat guy and says, "You're going to marry my sister in like 2 weeks or something."
Oh, so they're like on a bachelor trip. Okay.
So there's that going on. I don't want to
Thanks for pointing that out. No, I get it. You and I are on a bachelor trip, James.
Yeah.
And that life's a trip, and we're both desperately lonely. So there she's like, okay, and he has a gun, and they have a conversation. I don't remember the exact specifics, but
he says something like, "You do realize the only thing keeping us from death is one line of your code," and or one line of my code. And he goes, "Yeah, that's why I feel much safer with a gun," because he's basically slamming her, saying he doesn't trust her work.
Oh, okay. But what was the code like? Was he hinting that they might be themselves robot? Another
No,
layer?
I thought it was just basically saying, they can't harm us because they're inhibited from doing so from coding.
Yeah.
You wrote the code. I don't trust your code. Therefore, I want my gun to protect me.
See, James, you just earned your paycheck, buddy. That totally makes sense now. He's saying, yeah, their code could go fucked up, and you might be the one responsible for me getting killed. So I need this gun to blast a robot in case your code sucks. Okay, cool. Thanks for explaining it. And I just said it twice. So he says I sleep with it. Okay, so boom, we're back in town. We got to push hard here, James. Bad guy. What are these guys doing? Well, oh yeah, this guy, cliche as hell, walking up.
I thought that coat was a little unbecoming of someone in this time period.
In this climate,
Looks a little bit too warm. It was like a Corella Duvall coat.
Yeah, like a big fur.
Yeah,
it's a bear. I assume that's bear. But he's got big bad guy. He looks like a boss. You know what I mean? Like video game style boss. Like he's obviously a little bit more care went into his character creation here. Hey, who are you? It's Sam Elliott's younger brother, Dave Elliott. I think everybody's brother's named Dave. And so they're obviously looking for him. And Teddy sees him and gives him a little bit of the business and says, "Hey, pal, what are you up to?" And I don't remember exactly. There's some reasoning for it. But then they have they pull their guns and they get a quick gunfight. This they went right for it.
Yeah, so the crux of this whole scene is that Teddy, again, is acting as a guide for another newcomer who is the woman next to him.
She's spunky. I like her,
Yeah,
actually.
and they're playing out a scenario where she gets to take down this wild bandit guy.
Also, there's a demonic, murderous shopkeeper back here standing there still like a fucking... That's terrifying.
Yeah, so that's all that's really going on in this particular scene, just showing that there's Teddy doing his guide thing.
Yeah, so Teddy's bringing this woman into this battle, and she's like all about it, though. I liked her. That's what I thought that was cool about. She like, gets out her guns, just starts nailing them. So yeah, I'm attracted to powerful women, James. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you before. I send you an email every day. Boom, gets them, they win. She's like, hell yeah, fuck yeah. And so then they handcuff him. He's like, why are you handcuffing him? He's like, because he's dead. He goes, yeah, someone might take off with him. And then they come into this whore bar.
Yeah, because bounties are worth money, and he's the one someone walking off with his bounty.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like when you find the PlayStation on the sidewalk. You go to the bar. Okay.
It's like that bike that's chained to a tree
chained up bike.
Yeah, outside our down on Venice, and the handlebars, the pedals, both wheels, the seat, everything is missing except for the frame.
Yeah, the only thing that can't be just easily stripped apart. There's a lot of abandoned shit in LA though. Mostly couches and toilets. If you ever drive around LA. Okay, so then Maeve comes in and she's the head of the whorehouse, and she goes, "Why you got a guy handcuffed?" And he goes, "Here's money for your troubles."
Well, he basically said, "I figured it'd be better than to bring him in here."
Yeah. But then this happens, though. Was this triggered by him touching her hand with the coins, or
no? I don't think so, because remember she already had that line of code spoken to her by Dolores.
Yeah, no, I know. But what caused her? What kind of made her
seeing Teddy's face?
Oh, just seeing Teddy.
Because her last memory of Teddy was seeing him being hosed down in the chamber.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, right. Okay, you're right. So that's what triggered it. So, but then that's what triggered her memory here of then I missed a shot. They show that big room where there's all the bodies and they're sort of washing them down.
In on
that's kind of the like the pit stop after the car race when they have to wash them off.
And that's how I shower too. I just lay in the corner.
Before they rebuild them, they have to clean them, I guess. Yeah, that's how James showers. He
I fall asleep. I cry a little bit.
Blood oozes from various pores and wounds and his eyes. And so then this is back when she had escaped off the table, and it's all there. So boom, it's back to the world we were just in, and so that was crazy. So they're all their memories are sort of waking up a little more. They're starting to become a little bit more closer to the surface.
It's kind of strange. Like the last time she had one of those freeze up moments where she remembered something, people were like on her like a hawk. They're like, okay, we need to pull her. We need to do diagnostics. But no one seemed to notice that time.
Right, and I would assume that more will escape, more cracks will form, and more things will get through the cracks because it'll happen at a volume that can't keep up with. I would imagine. Or, I don't know. Well, so then anyway, then the girl comes over. She goes, hey, come on upstairs with me. I'm going to have a good time. And she goes, hey, why don't you hold off on that drink with me, Teddy? I'm going to go get a little pew, pew, pow, pow, scissor, scissor.
Yeah, it creates the impression that all women can go straight to lesbianism if given the chance.
Well, James, the studies have shown that women tend to be a little more gender fluid or sexually fluid than men typically, but it's also evolving as cultural mores change. And for one, I applaud it, all right? Our grandparents grew up with women taught that they can only fuck dudes. More and more women are like, I can fuck everybody. Hey, guess who has a better time? Planet Earth. I say yes. Okay, sorry.
Yes, I'm prop lesbian.
Yes, not lesbian. Bi. Try. Buy. Take it home. Take it for a ride. Rent it.
I'm not saying
rent it. Own it. Do it. Whatever the fuck you want.
I'm not criticizing anything.
If everybody's
clear.
I know you're not criticizing. I'm saying I think there's not enough orgasms. I'm talking about everybody, not men. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody, because life is hard. And getting boned and doing some boning, if you're all about it, that's a better way to spend the day than just...
Okay.
You ever clean a kitchen?
No.
You ever sex a woman? It's awesome. One activity is better than the other one.
Is clean a kitchen a euphemism?
I'm saying there's chores, there's bullshit, there's work, and then there's banging, having fun. All right, enough of that. Everybody knows. Everybody knows my position. So he's like, oh boy, she's going to go get it. I did my job. This is a job well done.
And then he sees his loop begins, his narrative kicks in, and he sees Dolores out the window.
Oh, hi gosh, there's the girl in the blue dress. I'm going to go investigate her.
He's going to run straight for her can.
Yep, we got the can.
There's the can.
He grabs her can.
He always loves grabbing that can.
He wraps his fingers around her can. And what if she took her shirt off and she had just one giant boob across her whole chest? Yeah. Go ahead.
Is that powdered milk?
It did say, no, it said evaporated milk.
Ah, so it's still milk.
Yeah, which is still milk, yep. And they evaporate it so you can fit more into a can. And it's sweet, too. There's like condensed, it's like a Thai ingredient, a lot of Thai cooking. So there they go. She goes, here's your can. Okay, we'll go have a moment. Let's go play out a romantic cowboy scene. So they have this whole conversation. We really got to push, James. I know we're on a time scale here. So this whole conversation, actually, we're going to keep it under an hour.
Yeah, at the time you asked me if this conversation was part of the programming, I said yes, but now I'm starting to think more so no, because she's thinking outside the box. She's thinking, is there more to this world than just this area? Take me away to a place where the river meets the sea, or whatever she said. So she was saying, I want to go someplace else. I don't want to stay here. I want to see what more the world has to offer. And he says, sure, I'll take you there someday.
It's south.
Yes, and she said, someday. Someday sounds like a phrase people use when they really mean never.
Yeah.
So let's go now. Yeah. And then he says that I can't go now. I've got some business to take care of, but as soon as I do that, we'll go and live the life that we've always wanted.
Things that need reckoning here.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they have this totally cliche romantic kissing, which, by the way, pretty good. I was into it. I got a little, didn't tell you, James, at the moment, but, there was movement. He's handsome. She's hot. They're doing it. They're having a nice little moment. And, exactly what James said. I will add that the other thing that this scene accomplished was that it established that he doesn't have a real backstory. That's what that reckoning was.
And we'll get to that, too.
That comes up later, because that's the theme of the episode.
And then he opens his eyes and blows her head off with a Cyclops beam.
Yeah. He played Cyclops in an X-Men movie. That's what James is referring to, for those of you that didn't get that. So cool. So boom, we're back at the ranch, and this is a triggered event that seems to happen every day, where she comes home. What a horrible cycle she's got. Yeah. Every day she comes home from work, and she's got to find her dad being murdered.
And imagine how much worse it is when you're self-aware of it.
Oh, when she starts to know what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe that'll be episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
I would stop going home.
Yeah, I know.
I go bowling.
I would just make out with my boyfriend by the fucking sun. The mountains. And there they go. As if mountains are closer than the sun. I guess they are closer than the sun. Okay, so they hear...
Guess they are?
Well, I'm just saying, like, you can be by a tree, not by mountain.
guess
It's too big to be near. I mean, you are near it if you're on it.
That's my favorite thing I've ever heard you say.
Shut up, James! Quit laughing at me. People be like, you've been bullying me my whole life, you motherfucker. So, oh no, Daddy getting shot. We gotta run up. Oh. And then, what the fuck was this? Why did this happen real quick? Oh, that was just the end of that scene.
Yeah, so it cuts back and it's basically an interrogation
this is a cool shot.
Teddy.
Let me show this though. This is neat. I love this. This was amazing effects.
It's
this is
creation of an eyeball.
So yeah, we assume this is an eyeball. First of all, they're filling it up with milk. Mm-hmm. I gotta say, now I know people would point that out. It's not milk. It's aqueous humor. That's the liquid inside your eye, James. But I don't know what that liquid is. But it's white because it's the eye. But this thing was like threading back and forth, and it's sort of this is the material science of the future.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome effect.
It was very cool. I thought that was well done, and it pulls back on this man. He was on I think Colbert or Daily Show. It was he's got these blue eyes that just make you want to fall in love with the ocean. And then speaking of Anthony Hopkins, sexy as shit, still looking as good as he always has, and he's interviewing him. By the way, real quick, I thought his one man tit looked differently.
I noticed that as well.
Did it seem weird? I thought it seemed weird.
One is different than the other.
Like you can tell which hand he jacks off with. I think that's what we can deduce from that. I've seen Sherlock Holmes. So what's this conversation?
This is one where he was talking to Teddy. He's trying to find out what Teddy's motivations are and then correcting him by saying, you will never live a better life with Dolores. Your purpose is not to be happy. Your purpose is not to be with Dolores. Your purpose is otherwise.
Yeah. And also this is where he brings him his new backstory, though.
Yes.
Right?
That's the most important part of this whole scene.
He goes, you have you want to have a backstory? I don't know. And
greatest English accent I've ever heard.
I know. I'm pretty good at that stuff. Yeah. There you look. He's like a fiddler crab.
So he's like saying, have you ever wondered why you feel you have an obligation, but you don't know quite what it is? Because we never gave you a backstory. How about we give you one?
Yeah. So he's setting up. I think he's filling in the details on his new plan, whatever new storyline he's building and everything else. Unless he's planning on tearing the whole place apart. Like, this whole thing might be on purpose from him, because he's one of those evil mastermind dudes.
Yeah, we don't
so he has this little iPad thing, or just iPad mini, and he hits the upload button. I like looking at these. I just like seeing the way they design them.
Apparently he's uploading the narrative straight to the guy's crotch.
What do you mean?
It seems like that's where he's zoned in on.
Yeah, right there. Well, of course, that's his USB port.
Yeah.
You and I have human dicks, but these guys have a USB 4.0.
Kind of interesting. You see the host ID of this guy right there.
Yeah, look at that. And it's also Cam 27. No, that's it's not. Upload host narrative. So this is the key part, because he taps over there. Also, old men have gross hands and fingernails. Ugh. Can you imagine getting old and dying?
What do you think the RR means? RR42?
Where am I looking?
Right there.
Oh, that RR? That stands for George R.R. Martin. So where are we at? Okay, so he does it. He goes, okay, now you get a new backstory. And
so he starts saying, do you know who Wyatt is?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I don't know who Wyatt is.
Then he uploads
the narrative. He goes, of course I know who Wyatt is.
So we cut to a couple shots from the storyline, the memory that he just uploaded. This is this guy Wyatt. He's got a face of evil.
Yeah. And
there's the face of evil.
Yeah.
It's just a guy.
And he tells something about Wyatt going off into the mountains, coming back with a crazy sense of belongings, a crazy sense that the world belongs to him, the town belongs to him.
Yeah. Correct. So that's what that was. And so now Teddy has a backstory. That's what that whole scene was about. And his weird boobs. So, boom. Where we go? Oh, yeah. James's computer got a fucking restart thing. Whatever. It doesn't. Our fans will forgive us. Horses. There it is. I
still kept taking
I paused it and I go, when is that? Do I have to click it or does it fucking go away on its own? You go. James goes, it goes away on its own. I go, I don't think it does. And so then it went away as soon as I interrupted. That's why. Okay. All right, we're getting into okay. So Dolores is back in town. She's got her stuff. She's doing her chores. She's doing her shopping. Everybody's running around. Regular day. Of course, we've got
Trevor.
Rebus.
To me, he's always Trevor.
I know, he can't not be Trevor because he's Trevor from Grand Theft Auto.
And the strange thing that bothers me a whole lot is that there was an episode where we saw Peter Abernathy being put into cold storage along with the milkman.
Her father. Her original father.
But why the heck is the milkman back?
Right.
He was put into cold storage.
Peter Abernathy also made another appearance, too.
I missed that.
Well, unless that was sort of a cutaway to a different time. But he was in this episode.
I know what you mean now. But yeah, that does not mean he's been reactivated, though. We'll get to that.
Very true. It does, to be very clear.
But this kind of was like a narrative-breaking thing for me. It's like, why the heck is he here?
Yeah.
Is this taking place in the past? But no, it can't be, because Dolores' mindset is present.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
So this kind of bothered me.
Yeah. Good. I get it. Maybe that's explained. Maybe James just caught the HBO in a big fib and they owe us all $1 million.
Okay, and this is a newcomer.
Yep. And this is Simon Pegg's uglier younger brother.
He has chosen a darker path.
Dave, I'm going to get my joke out of here.
Go for it.
Dave Pegg.
Oh, because everyone's brother is named Dave.
Yep.
Got it. So he's chosen a darker path. People who chose a lighter path have Teddy as a guide. And I'm assuming people who chose a dark path have Rebus as a guide.
And bad people have stringy hair and losing their hairline. That's why I hate that fucking guy, Judd. Not Apatow. Who's the other Judd? Law.
Ashley Judd?
No, the guy who's losing his hair. He's handsome, though. He played a robot in AI.
Oh, that guy. I know him.
Super sexy
He's
man.
pretty much completely bald now.
Yeah, it's all going back. I went bald at 19, so I'm allowed to talk about everybody's hair, because you all can suck my fucking bald head. There you go. She's like, oh, God. And he goes, you want to give them a... Is this the toss in the hay scene?
Yeah, this is a hayride.
He says they have a hayride, yeah. So obviously this is just so horrible. Like, it didn't click with me the first episode, just how bad Dolores... She's just like this victim, and men get to just... There's parts of the show are pretty uncomfortable. I mean, at least there's good heroes, I guess, to come by and try to stop it, but it's still kind of brutal. But here's Teddy, comes in, goes, I don't think so, guys, you ain't doing a shit. And he's like, fuck you. He goes, I got stringy hair, my name's Dave Pegg. And he goes, there's James's buddy, Walter.
Oh, and just so you know, the guy you were calling Judd is Jude Law.
Jude Law!
Judd Law.
Well, Jude for short. Jude's short for Judd. And, and Law is short for legal. So his name, okay, so all right, so Trevor goes, what the fuck? And they're about to, this guy's like, I didn't want this much. I told you,
I wanted something easy.
Yeah, I wanted something easy. And he's like, because he's not looking for a gunfight. He just wants to rape a chick.
Yeah, he said, horrible. I wanted the rancher's daughter, but I want something easy.
Yeah, yeah. And so then the guy actually scares him off, and he goes, the bullet's not worth it. We'll head up to Billy Bob's house of rapeable whores. Blah, 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 blah. So they head off. She's like, thank you. And now they have their moment. And they head off to the hills, and now this whole thing, like, this is similar to the earlier, like, they're going through these scripted moments in order to be available in case a newcomer encounters them, I guess, because why would they devote this energy? I know they don't just freeze up, like James said, because, I don't know. So anyway, he's going to teach her how to hold a gun, and that's the actual right way to hold a gun, everybody, in case you've never shot a gun before.
Shoot from your stomach.
Yeah. Just barely cradle it like it's a dead baby. And wait a minute, I don't know why I said that. I should delete that. I went a little too far. Fuck. So then he gets behind her. This is always, I thought this was like a scene from Ghost, you know, when they're making pottery.
Whoopi Goldberg. And,
yeah. Well, then Whoopi Goldberg's not in that shot.
Well, she eventually becomes the one that makes out with the wife at the end.
She's the third set of arms that comes around both Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. So boom, he gives her the gun, and she's like, "Oh, okay, all right." And he goes, "Just breathe." And it's this whole gun shooting bullshit. Yeah, you got it. There's a right way and a wrong way to shoot a gun, but it's like, take a breath, hold this down, squeeze the trigger.
Yeah, because his whole narrative was to protect, his prime directive, as you might want to say, is protect Dolores.
Oh, maybe, and this is in response to what she just experienced. Maybe it's like, okay, I'll teach you how to shoot a gun, so the next time those fuckers come at you.
Yeah.
So he's trying to help her out, but then she can't. She just can't do it. She's like, I can't.
Pulling the trigger is against her programming.
Yeah,
which is very, very interesting.
He goes, well, because not everybody's made to shoot a gun.
Because as soon as I saw this scene, I was thinking back to the scene where she digs up the gun.
Yeah.
And she was saying, okay, well, maybe that was the test that Bernard wanted to put in to say, can I make her defy her programming? Can I make her overcome her limitations? Yes.
Well, also, and that specific gun was used for shooting dudes, meaning it could hurt newcomers, which I don't know is true or not, but it's not really germane anymore since it's not there, it seems. But it's still a big part of this whole gun thing, whether she can shoot a gun or not. Wink, wink. And so then, boom, we hear guys riding up. Horsey, cluck, 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 cluck. Hey, there's a guy coming up. We gotta go shoot him, and he's dangerous. You're the only one known to have made it alive out of an encounter, which I think is referring to the evil Wyatt.
Yes, he actually calls him out by name, Wyatt.
That's right. That's right. Is that the moon? No, that's one of those weird sun camera balls.
So at this point he says, you know, if I could stay with you, I would. But this is something I have to do.
So, oh, well, be safe. I'll be safe. I'm going to kiss you. You kiss me, I'll grab your cheek. That's not exact dialogue, everybody. Well, that's what he did. He grabbed her cheek.
Right there, you know what he's saying?
He's saying, he's going, do my lips look dry? I want to impress these men with I don't want to have dry lips around these men. I want a little shiny. All right, so boom, pretty, there he goes, pretty sky. Look at that, pretty nice. So he rides off. She's like, my boyfriend better be safe. Boom, we're up in the hills. We see this cool axe. It's like this old timey thing where before they made him efficient. And these guys are... This is a really funny scene.
Yeah, this was pretty funny.
Because it was like, they're like, we don't have a... They're like, we'll go pick up that axe and go chop some wood, dumb fuck, and we need to build a fire to kill the squirrel. But the fact that they got this far...
It's a rabbit.
Oh, yeah, rabbit, whatever. Rabbits...
It's be a huge squirrel.
Rabbits are just sexy squirrels.
I mean, that's not going to feed that many men anyway.
No, not really. But still, the fact that they got this far without the fire, I was like, what the fuck? That's so... But it's actually a big part of what they did. So it is explained, and so we realized, and then all of a sudden they're kind of having this... they're just jawboning each other like a bunch of inbred hillbillies, which is most of human history. And boom, they freeze, and up walk a couple of these employees, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well they're not allowed to touch the axe. So the guy who touched the axe is gone, and none of these guys have programming. They're not allowed to touch weapons." I thought that was cool that they explained.
Yeah, and just going to go back to it, the guy who was in charge of cutting the wood is the guy who's gone straight.
Yes. But it's funny that we just had these video game characters do the best they could with their programming, but they can't touch the axe, so they can't cook the thing, and so they talk about how they're giving each other shit for not being able to go get wood.
And this reminds me a lot of that story I told you. Remember that story I told you about the developer story of Skyrim when they were first developing it?
No.
They basically,
Skyrim's a big open world video game.
To make it really quick, what they did was they assigned each person in the town a certain job. So they wake up in the morning, they would go do their job, they'd stay on that job, and they'd go back home and go to bed. They'd have their own little narrative, which is much like the show.
Yeah.
So what they did was they told this one guy, your job is to go outside and run a hole in the garden. That's your entire job. You go home, you go to bed, everything's fine.
Okay.
So what they did was they programmed him to do that. Then they took his hoe away and put it in the neighbor's house. And he actually got up in the middle of the night, lockpicked his neighbor's door, murdered him in his sleep, took the hoe, then went back to bed, woke up, grabbed the hoe, went hoeing it out in the garden, and started on his narrative. And they said that was like absolutely terrifying. And it reminds me just of this.
So the programmers didn't know he knew how to lockpick.
They created a murderer without knowing it.
Wow. That's amazing.
AI is terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see that. I mean, they do that with analog things too, with like bug models and stuff. And yeah, anyway. Wow, that's really impressive. That's fucking cool. Thanks for sharing that with us, everybody. Hey, everybody, let James know how much you love him in the comments. All right, so there they go. Okay, so yeah, so they decide, okay, they're just looking around. Threw me off a little bit here, homeboy. Okay, but they go, oh look, he's got a hobby, and she goes, yeah, well, hobbies are what links them. It's what gives them their grounding. It's what makes them part of the world.
And he's the woodcutter, so you kind of imagine that he would be carving wood in his spare time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I've done a little bit of wood cutting myself, James, and it makes my testosterone
go
but
he says, in the future, maybe you should give him a little bit better skills, because this really sucks.
Right. Although he did make this eagle and this bear make out. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. They're going to have a little eagle-bear baby.
I mean, the first time I saw this, when we were watching it, the first thing it reminded me was, constellation. I didn't know what constellation it was, but it looks like a constellation to me.
I wasn't totally convinced it was constellation. I thought it might be some sort of game, but I was thinking map of some kind, but I didn't rule out constellation. I just wasn't as confident about it as James is, because James has reckless assumptions.
Yes, I do.
No.
That's the best way to describe it.
But she picks up the bear, and actually on the back of the bear had the same thing. So now we're starting.
Would probably be Ursa Major.
Ursa,
bear.
The bear constellation, or Ursa Dipper, which is the Big Dipper. I should have said Dipper Major would have been better there. Okay, so she walks, but she keeps the turtle backing. This is like a turtle.
Yeah, she shoves that into her pocket.
Yeah, she's a hero on the half shell.
Turtle power.
Pizza. So there they go. They're walking off now. We're back at Teddy. He's with his people, and he's got the guy. He's guiding that one woman again, the one I like, who's cute. But then he has this memory about being back in some Civil War fight. This is so. As he's approaching Wyatt's camp, he's sort of connecting to older memories about his backstory. Right? There's Wyatt.
And this is where he gives a brief little description that Wyatt comes back from the mountains, or comes back from a faraway place, and has this crazy new idea of how the world should be and what his place in it should be, and that he should own things.
Yeah. Right. That you deserve stuff, that you don't just have to be doing it. Okay, yeah.
That the people who have the current stuff should not be the owners of the current stuff.
It's almost like sort of a prediction here that Dr. Ford implanted Wyatt to be the one that really tries to tip things to influence him.
Oh, yeah. I think that too is like, should the host be the owner of their own world, or should the creators be overthrown?
But if you want to inject, it's like Inception. If you want to inject ideas that you shouldn't in the professional workspace, like in that whole office complex, you can create a character that will do it for you, so that it's happening a layer removed from you.
So and we know that White is a direct creation of Dr. Ford.
Yeah.
So
plus he's the face of evil. He's just such a normal looking guy. Okay, so they're walking up. They say, oh, guess what? We got a gross murder tree. That's never good. Uh-oh, we got to investigate. It's covered in flies. Guy's sitting there, he's gross, he's all puffy, and
he's gonna need a long milk bath.
Yes, he is. They're gonna dip him in that shit for days, and they get closer. Ew, gross, he stinks, it's flies, he's gross, it's a corpse. And the lady gets close. Who gets close to a corpse? You don't go up to one.
I was thinking the whole time this is going to be like that scene in Seven with the guy in the bed where it's going to be revealed that he's really still alive and he coughs or jerks or something like that. And
speak of the devil, because I think I got a shot. No, I missed it. Fuck, let's back up.
Yeah, he does jerk back to life. Oh, look at his scalp.
Yeah, it's like the flies are all gathering around.
But anyway, he does cough. He's back to life, and as soon as he does that, bullets start flying. There's people in the hill shooting down at him. Yes,
and so then they kind of get ambushed, but then
he gets shot in the head.
Yeah, bam, boom.
Because he's a threat.
Yep, he's done. Yeah, I know. He was a lot of trouble. That's just a stray bullet. The stray.
No,
yeah. And so they're like, take cover, boom, pow! And she gets into it. She's kind of cool. And then this guy, he's another newcomer. He's like, what the fuck? This is crazy. What the hell? We should have stayed at the riverboat.
He said, I should have stayed. I should have gone with the riverboat theme or something like that. Yeah. This is not what I wanted.
He's overwhelmed. It's dangerous. It's scary.
And they have the deputy in the back there in the black hat take him back to town.
Yes, yeah. And so they make a plan like, all right, we're going to go up to the ridge. She decides to stay. She's like, I'm tough. I'm staying. I really like her. My crush on her is growing, James. Mm-hmm. And they're like, all right, we're going to shoot you, then you run. And so they do. They take off. This seemed like they would have been nailed when they were running through that little spot.
The cliche thing of bullets hitting around their feet and dust kicking up. Right.
Like,
come on.
Sure, yeah. Pew! So, boom, and then they go, all right, we'll go. And so, bam, boom, we're in another set. Now here he is playing with his cool iPad. He's looking around this map thing. Right there, they got there. So they're tracking the runaway, or the stray guy.
Camera 27 anywhere?
Yeah, it's at Cam 27.
Where is it?
I don't see it.
It's got to be there.
I don't see it.
You think it'd be good enough technology that would be able to flip and orient it the right way around?
They still have GPS. That's good to know. Yeah. Tilt. Oh, I see. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, no Cam 27. They still use arrows, just like we do nowadays. Some things never change. But that was interesting. They got that little special effect thing. He's like, he's going that way. We're going to go that way. And so she's walking.
And she's following the constellation.
Well, she's not following it. She's pondering. It's not enough to follow yet, right? But then he makes he comes up and goes, look, it's Orion. It's the constellation Orion.
Yeah, and he turns it upside down for her.
Yeah.
Or he tells her to flip it.
The word we're looking for is orientation. So he gives it the proper orientation. She looks up and she goes, who are you, Gallo fucking Leo? Who's one of the famous cereal mascots from the 80s. So,
and he says, maybe it's part of my backstory.
Yes, yeah. So then we're back into the office. That's Bernard, I think, and he goes in. There's comment on Anthony Hopkins. Bernard shows up, and he wants to talk to him. He wants to have a conversation. He's giving him a titty twister. That's what he's reaching for. Giving him the old purple nurple.
Yeah. And he says, you haven't interrupted me, but I was doing this looking for inspiration. I was looking...
Yeah. He's up to his old mastermind bullshit. Mm-hmm. But this sequence was wacky, right? So he comes over and he goes, what are you doing? Why do you have him covered up? What the fuck's wrong with you? He really gets into this guy's face. This is like another, tech,
a creator guy.
Worker. But he doesn't know what to say. He's like, He goes, do you think they're modest? Do you think they have feelings? Do you think they get cold? Do you think they worry about their dick being seen and stuff? They don't. They're just fucking robots. They don't do shit, you idiot. And he really gives the guy crap. He goes, they feel nothing. And please fill in, James. I'm sure I'm not
getting the dialogue. He starts cutting down the side of the guy's face.
He grabs a scalpel and gives him a, ow, just to prove how much of a tough guy he is. But like, he's the boss. He gets to do whatever he wants. But I'd be like, dude, now I got to fix his fucking scar.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if he's doing that for appearances or if he's doing that just to try and convince himself that these aren't real people.
Oh, because he's starting to doubt it?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but I think it's a decent theory.
I don't think that's true either. I'll get into what I think later on.
All right, good. I want to hear more about your theory. That sounds awesome. I'm interested. I always love James's theories. I love James's theories more than I love him, which is why I'm trying to upload his consciousness into my other computer, which is
part of a theory I've got.
Oh no. Okay, so here, let's keep pushing. We're back. Okay. Oh boy, that's fucked up. That's crazy. Wow, really interesting. So okay, now Bernard goes, we got to talk in private. So he's like, all right, come with me. Now I took a ton of screenshots here because there was a lot going on, and I think there's a lot to look at in Dr. Ford's office. He's got a really big, huge office. we come in on this thing. They show these shots. This guy's playing piano. There's this thing here. So this is just as an example of why this room was so intriguing. You know, he's obviously been at this a long time. The more successful you are in life, the bigger and more fucked up your office gets to be. But I want to back up one shot to this guy. I think this is metaphorical for the entire show, because there's such an emphasis on the player, on there's nobody playing the piano. You know how they use that as cutaways. They use that to start new scenes. It's a big theme in the show, is machinery running itself, gaining sentience. But there's something significant to the fact that in his own office, he has a player. He doesn't have an automatic piano.
That's pretty interesting.
Thank you for validating my feelings. So let's keep going on. Dr. Robert Ford, park director. Now we know his job title. All right, so he's the parking lot guy. So there we go. What if he's out there? He's out there going, oh, the Subaru? Yeah, that's 45. Row 45. All right. Okay, so yeah, now Bernard is wondering about Arnold, right? Isn't that really what? And that's we learn a lot more coming up here in a real quick second.
Yeah, he's struggling to understand what he saw in that last footage of the milkman going crazy and talking to this invisible guy named Arnold.
Yes, and so we learn, and this is again backstory, where Dr. Ford gives him a lot of information. I was pretty compelled by this whole scene, aside from the amazing visuals. But he tells him all about his original partner, whose name was
Arnold.
Arnold from
Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold. Isn't there an Arnold in the Three's Company? Which one? What one of those 80s sitcoms? Yeah. So he tells him that Arnold was a brilliant man, and he was interested in consciousness, right? And they were really exploring. This is a pretty dense scene, but they were really exploring how to make them conscious, how to make the original robots and automatons self-aware, I guess, or simulated self-awareness. And
they wanted actual consciousness as opposed to the illusion of consciousness.
Yes.
That's what Arnold wanted, but it seems like that was counterintuitive to what Dr. Ford wanted.
Yes, and it had some cutaways to like the original robots, so we'll see some more of that, I think, coming up here too.
And I think there's another very critical thing spoken during this scene in which Dr. Ford remembers how great the initial 3 years of the park was. He said there was no guests, no distractions. It was pure creation.
Oh, yeah, right.
So it seems as though he hates the idea of guests. He just wants the creation side of things. So perhaps he was the one who had a hand maybe putting a gun somewhere. Maybe he has a motive in creating disarray to get rid of the guests so he can live out the remainder of his years going back to pure creation.
After kind of like this bulk of his life with the guests sort of being this necessary evil to his enterprise.
I think he resents the guests.
Perhaps, yeah. Or just, and that's true for a lot. Like, he's like the Steve Jobs of robots. Steve Jobs was a real piece of shit. He was fucking horrible to everybody. HBO Now, everybody. Check it out. And then we see a picture of, like the young Anthony Hopkins face. That's funny. And then Arnold. Now, does he look like anybody?
You think Arnold is the Man in Black?
Well, just the fact that they went to make sure that we saw the shot, I think that there might be... No, I don't think it's Ed Harris. I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying I don't think he looks like someone we've seen yet.
You think Arnold has uploaded his consciousness into the Man in Black?
Well, that could be it. That maybe. Or maybe the Man in Black is trying to rescue Arnold. Maybe Arnold is trapped somewhere.
In the programming. Because he's speaking to them from an invisible source.
Right.
See the ghost in the machine now.
Yeah, maybe he's the one putting, the scalp mazes together and maybe the carving,
but it's
constellation thing.
Before we say all this, it's important to know that he says that Arnold died in the park.
Yeah, but he hinted that he killed himself, right? He basically said that he ended on his own, like he wasn't killed in an accident. I think, right? I'm pretty sure
something like that. I don't have a perfect memory of that, but I know he said that he died in the park.
Yeah. Yes. So then this is some of the cutaways this is where he was talking about those first great 3 years.
The pure creation years.
Yeah, and this guy's like, if I pull this one down, he'll be making a middle finger. you know they did that when they were building robots.
Oh, yeah.
First thing you do. And, it was just, everything was kind of cool. They just it's a whole different environment. They've got these table robots, and there's all wires. And so eventually they obviously learned how to do, flesh and blood and stuff for the robots, because... Yeah, they're sort of like Cylons more than they are like mechanical. Anybody doesn't know, Cylons are basically fleshy robots.
From Battlestar Galactica.
From Battlestar Galactica.
Because we're not nerds.
No, we're huge nerds. It's a fucking video game channel that does shot-by-shot breakdowns of TV shows.
We are sports jocks.
Yeah, big time sports jocks. You should see my Cubs socks on. I didn't go with socks. I meant
Cubs socks.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they in the World Series? Who the fuck knows?
I
I'm from Chicago and I can't. All my friends are okay. They're obnoxious. Just shut the fuck up about sports. I'm actually jealous because there's so much of it out there. I just don't get it. All right, so then they're in this environment. This is kind of interesting. This young Anthony Hopkins. I love these movie magic moments where they take, they de-age them, Benjamin Button shit. I don't know. Oh, look, this one's wearing a bra. No, it's not. That just doesn't have arms. Oops, sorry everybody. But yeah, they're doing work. This is like a beauty college or a mannequin factory. And the guy's looking at him, and
he kind of reminds me of the Black Hat guy.
A little bit. He's got a little bit of that. Yeah. And he's got his nipple. But this was. What do you think this moment was like? Was it just like, oh, he can finally see their eyes, just looking? Not finally, but like it's that eye contact thing. Like we have this humanity in on our faces and our eyes, and I mean that's a very important part of any animal is the eyes, obviously. But then they cut to these like cool shots of them sort of like setting up dancing.
Yeah,
and, like
the early on where there was simulated consciousness where they were just kind of moving around like robots in a Disneyland ride.
Yeah,
where for a fact that they don't have the same realism as the Westworld does today.
Right. And so and in order to get to that realism, they've had to like solve these things of motivation and pain and pleasure, and consciousness and fear and love, and like what are you interested, and that's why they give them these backstories. And so then they have this whole conversation of like what was Arnold's theory of consciousness, and he said it was bicameral something. Was a word he used.
And I was promising myself I'd remember what the different stages of the pyramid meant.
Yeah.
The M, and I can't for the life of me recall it.
That's fine. We're good. We're okay.
They never came up with a top tier.
People will fill us in. Yeah. It's like motivation stuff, something, safety. I don't know what the fuck. Who knows? It was important, but fuck it. Who cares? I mean, people will pay attention and fill it in.
What the heck does frame a Gantt mean?
I don't know. Reveries. It's probably some sort of like psychology word or some shit. Like how do you frame?
Maybe you just spelled agent wrong.
Yeah, frame a Gantt. They never were able to understand the top layer. That was the important detail, though. That they didn't reach true understanding of consciousness.
And to be certain, that's what Arnold wanted to accomplish. That was Arnold's goal, not Dr. Ford's goal.
And by the way, this is Peter Abernathy. I know you can't really see it, but it is. That's the shot where he's in the show, which we referenced earlier.
But he's in the diagnostics.
Yeah, this is like part of his development. So I don't think he is in the world. He's not back. Confirmed. So because we're all kind of just we're cutting away from Anthony Hopkins and Bernard's conversation.
And then you have Hitler's head back there.
This guy here, he's got a little Hitler. That's the when he pulls his head forward, a secret door opens, and that's how he gets to the Bat Cave. Plus, he's got this fucking thing, which is terrifying. I don't know what that is. So it was an interesting scene, though. I mean, there was we learned a lot. He said that when they did try to give them their consciousness, they gave them was it memory? No, it was speaking to God. It was what's the voices of, so they would give them voices that they would then, they let them think it was the voice of God, but then they tried to control how much of it, I know I'm getting this wrong.
No, that was Arnold's approach. He said that was his initial way to kind of control things, how he would make them feel as though they were hearing the voice of God.
Yeah.
And the only remnant of that in the current programming are the commands that they give to the robot creations to control them.
Yes, right. But then they did reference with this shot of this lady was that some of them still believed it was God, and they went like crazy. They were like lunatics or something, as they said the word lunatics. So it all kind of, it was just a really big scene, though. I thought that it really filled in a lot of the show's backstory, and I thought was pretty illuminating as far as like kind of a little bit what Bernard's up to, as we find out when he's walking him out the door, and Dr. Ford says, asks him to please keep me informed of any future weird discrepancies and problems. And he goes, but then he brings up his son. He goes, I know you're still not quite over Charlie, the death of your kid.
Right. And I was a little bit perplexed by why he didn't seem to be too disturbed by the references to Arnold. You think that would be a major turning point for Dr. Ford? but it seems like he's already aware of something about this.
What? Oh, you mean that hearing that Arnold is being talked about in the world?
He just seemed to just hear it as though, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he didn't go, what? Arnold? Fuck, are you serious? Oh, shit, that's fucking crazy.
He knows more than he's leading on at this point.
Yes, it does sound like that. That's a good observation. Thank you. And so, but his
son, Charlie.
Yeah, but as we learn later on, too, part of Bernard's motivations is his backstory, which is his son, the death of his son, Charlie.
And we saw a picture of him in the prior episode, but we didn't know who he was at the time.
But we find out more. So then we go, ring, ring. He walks off. He kicks an elevator. Then we go, ring, 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 ring. You got a phone call, phone call. By the way, world's worst fucking phone call place. Because look at this. Everybody behind you gets to see your own video. Yeah. Why don't they put a wall on these
like
booths?
Urinals.
Yeah, like urinals. Like, it's like if I don't want, come on. This is outrageous. So anyway, this lady, she's an actress. I've seen her in Firefly. She played a badass.
Oh, that's where I've seen her.
Yeah, Mal's. And she's been in a bunch of other stuff too. Yeah. She's pretty good. She's cool. But so then she's his ex-wife, and they're like, yeah, it's just fucked up. Her kid's dead. There's the kid. He's dead. And he's like, I know, it sucks. It really sucks. And he goes, do you ever think about him? I think about him a lot. And he goes, there he is. He's before he's dead. And
saying, I don't know if these conversations hurt or whether they help.
That's what she said. She goes, do these hurt or help? And he goes, well, the pain of them is all I got. And there was a bunch of cutaways, and there was a bunch of like, so then we don't know what killed him, but obviously he died by being touched with people with blue gloves.
He went into the chocolate factory, and there's just,
got swallowed up by, he got mugged by an Oompa Loompa who was in rut.
It was that documentary, Charlie and the Chocolate.
Charlie. Oh, I see what you're getting at. I was like, that was a random. I did not connect it to it. Yeah, with William Wonka.
Yes, William Wonka.
Yeah, the handsome William Wonka. So this is weird though. I mean, they're commiserating. I mean, I think the main purpose of this scene was not so much to bring this new character into the world, but mostly to show that the death of his son has really deeply affected him. And he says the pain of it is all I have left.
Yeah, and this is saying, would you ever want to forget? And he goes, no, the only thing I have left of him is this pain.
And that's where he goes. And that's why I'm going to close my eyes.
Yeah, and it kind of gives a little bit of insight onto the whole, we live in this compound, this is where we work, this is where we still have outside connections.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like almost, I think it's like astronauts on the International Space Station getting to have short calls, or soldiers out in Iraq. They're far removed from reality, but they're doing something they consider important enough to be detached from their connections back in the real world.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's totally, I thought that, because they said at the start of that scene, he's like, yeah, sorry, it was a lot of lines. Took me a lot to get this time allocated or something like that.
Yeah. But
so it's not easy for them to communicate.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, though, even though that may be even if she may currently be his wife, I feel like they're separated.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's screwing around with this other woman, Teresa, I think her name is on the show. Yeah. I could be wrong about that. But it seems like the death of their son was the thing that drew the schism between the relationship.
I got the sense they were no longer a partnership, but that they're still in touch because of their connection to their kid that died. Yeah, you're right, and it does help illuminate some of what maybe is a bigger world that's out there. Because I've speculated that it's layers and layers of different
a post-apocalyptic destroyed world, but I don't think that's the case.
Maybe not. I hope I'm sticking by it. That's why they like milk. It makes no sense. So, all right.
Great screenshot, by the way.
Well, come on, dude. There's some dark shots here, all right? I'll brighten it up in Premiere. Don't worry, man. And Uncle Hanky's got you. By the way, I talked to my nephews today. Actually, I called, and then they didn't want to talk to me, so I took them out of the fucking will. Someone else is going to get my spatulas. And
I thought you were going to say your debt.
My debt?
Leave your debt to people.
Yeah, I'll leave my debt to my nephews, you pieces of shit.
I'm planning before I die, I'm going to mass up nothing but debt.
Yeah. That's smart.
Why wouldn't you?
Why not?
Yeah.
Debt on hookers, cocaine, and lollipops.
Yep. Ferraris for days.
Ferraris for days. So there they go. They're walking through. This is the lady. She's and the guy, the Helmsworth brother, and they got these weird flashlights. It's all sci-fi shows have. You can't just have a regular flashlight in a sci-fi show.
So they're still looking for the stray.
Yeah, they're still out there, but it's getting night. It's dark. They don't seem too concerned though. I mean, like they're not freaked out and scared.
They can just freeze frame anything that comes out.
Yeah, they're like the gods wandering through this area or this whole thing. So, so this right here, so she says something, she's like, I gotta go polish my nookie, or I don't know what it was. And she said something, and he goes, oh, what? And she goes and she's pissing or something, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty normal. I guess that's what you would do. And then she hears a noise, and she goes, what's that? And so she scrambles up the little rock, and she looks over, and look who it is! It's the Stray.
It's James Franco caught in the rocks down below.
Is he bald in that? Or he has a big beard?
But, in 127 hours, he gets his hand caught.
No, I'm familiar with the storyline. I never saw the movie, though. I hear it's great.
I have it on Blu-ray.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Fuck yeah. What if we just cut to screenshots of that and started talking about it? So this whole sequence was pretty intense, though. This guy looks crazy, too.
So this is the woodcutter who disappeared that prevented them from starting the fire, prevented them from eating the rabbit.
And baldness with a big, look at how freaky that guy looks.
Yeah, bald is evil and crazy.
Big beard, bald, evil, dirty. Yeah. He's gross. He's also in his underwear.
It's almost like
that old-timey pajama underwear.
Yeah, he's turned his head upside down so he'd have the hair on the top and then the chin.
I could transplant my back hair into my head and solve 2 problems at once. He's not really saying anything, though. He's kind of like...
He looks confused.
Yeah, he's sort of... His programming is all run off. He's basically having a blue screen of death.
Yeah.
But he's still running around, and he fell into the hole, and he's fucked up. His hands
like he's been trying to claw his way out.
Yeah, we see some some bloody hand marks and stuff. Help me, mommy! give me some of that milk. And so they come up... Okay, so cut away, though. That was the end of that scene. We'll get back to it, though. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. Now we're with Freddy and the guy, the sheriff, and the woman.
Yes.
They're looking for. And he's, of course, carrying around a big old bright light, which you see it in a couple previous moments, though. It's like, if you're trying to stalk up on a group of bandits, you're approaching them, and you don't come in at them with holding a light. I know it's... Okay, whatever. I guess they've got it in a shopping bag, so they're okay taking it home from Whole Foods. So they walk up and let's just keep going through. Okay, suddenly emerging from nowhere is scary monster dudes dressed up like some freaky monster guys, and they got knives and he stabs them.
Yeah, we can only assume these are Whitesmen.
Yeah,
but they are not like anything we've seen before. Yeah. They are very intimidating looking masked figures.
Yeah, they're all masked up, and he's got a gun in his rope belt there. It's all happened pretty quick, so we don't really get much time to take too close a look at it. Until exactly right now. And they're like, oh, fuck, this is going to hell real quick.
But if she is a newcomer like we suspect she is, she should know that she can't be hurt.
Right.
So she should stick around and just clean house for
Although,
her.
Okay, that's funny, I agree with you, but if you've ever played VR, James is a virtual reality wacko, which is awesome because I get to play with it for free. But I tried the PSVR, PlayStation VR today. It's immersive, though. I know there's a shark thing coming out of Shark Cage in this thing, and you feel like there's a sense of you're not going to get hurt.
Did you move back when it
you're recoil, and even though you see it about to happen, and VR is extremely immersive. That's just one of the, and so this is that plus this is the holodeck times a million or something.
Right.
So you're really in there. So the emotions kick in, and so obviously she's a little scared, but she actually does all right. She starts shooting, and but these guys are just popping up out of nowhere. This is like a she's like, bam, boom, pow, and so they're fighting. He tells her to run, though. He goes, take off, I'll fend him off. And so she takes running off. This is one of my favorite moments of the scene, though. I think I have some, so he gets surrounded, and then he does he holds down the B and the X button at the same time.
Yeah, he does this awesome.
Yeah, he does a power move where he goes
like a 360 spin and hits them all.
Well, he hits a few of them. He didn't get them all.
But it didn't hurt any of them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's the thing. It's
okay, all right, fair enough. But it didn't accomplish his goal of surviving.
No.
But it was funny that it was very video gamey, though, where it's like he was saved up as he held down a charge.
Yeah.
And then went
activated his super.
Yeah, it was just funny. It was just very entertaining if you're a video game player.
But the problem is we know Teddy always gets killed and everything. So
Yeah,
it's not a big shock.
He's the Kenny of Westworld.
But why did his bullets not harm these guys?
That's a good question.
Who are they?
He gets covered up by them, though, in a big pile. They come on him. Yeah, you're right. Maybe
was he getting close to the entrance of the maze?
Interesting.
And those are the guardians of it.
James is asking great questions. Yeah. Well, what the fuck? We don't know. Why didn't his bullets work? Yeah. Great call. Great call. James is nailing it as always. So here we go back again. He's putting on some climbing gear. He's getting ready to go down there. Very confident. I wouldn't go near that fucking maniac. That bald,
and he was
that
a little
bald
bit
monster.
Apprehensive too. And he said, "Could you do me a favor? Could you put him into sleep mode?"
Well, yeah, and that seems. But wouldn't that be standard operating procedure?
Yeah.
I don't go into your room until you're asleep.
Yeah.
So there's an iPhone. They're looking at it. She calls and leaves a message
for Bernard.
For Bernard, which let's see, Delos. By the way, James, let me point this out. This is a quickie. Remember, Delos was in the on the planet in the old wreckage of the first episode at the bottom of the escalators when they were taking them down for storage. And someone pointed out in the comments that that's the name of the original park.
Right.
Dolores.
I never thought about that.
Delos, and she's the original. She's the first robot. Delos Dolores. Oh!
I don't know. That seems so simple, and yet I never made the connection.
Well, they would have had to add an R. Except actually, it's Dolores. It's Dolores. I figured that out when I was almost fucked up the last video.
And we can tell this is also from camera 27.
Yeah, camera 27 is on there. So she tells him, we found the stray, but I don't think he got it by accident. Says if he got an idea in his head, one that we never programmed. How did it know to highlight program? Yeah. But, okay, so that's a text message for Bernard, because she says, okay, Bernard, see you later. Now, Bernard's back with Dolores, speak of the devil, and speak of the angel, more likely. And she's like just waiting for him to tell her to wake up. She does. She wakes up, and he goes, what happens here?
This is basically the scene where he tells her that he believes he needs to roll her back to a prior save, or to a prior configuration.
He's like, I've gone too far.
Yeah, he's saying that this can't continue. And he asks her a question. He said there are two choices. There's only two kinds of choices in this world. You can either be a person who asks these questions, who thinks these thoughts, who sees a different world beyond the realm of their current existence.
Or has memory, yeah.
Or you can be safe.
Yeah.
Which do you want to be?
Yeah, he kind of lets her decide, or he's more just interested in see how she responds, though. And she actually starts to respond with a scripted answer, and he goes, turn off scripted, only improv.
Improv only.
Improvisation only. So she took improv classes, and that's why she's good at this part. And then she doesn't really give him any satisfactory answers. She kind of gives the answers we all would give, which is, I don't know. But she also says there's only one me.
Yeah.
There is no, that's not a choice. It doesn't make sense to me because I can only think of one thing.
Yeah, and an important thing before we go any further is that prior in the episode when he was talking to her, he activates something that everyone who probably has a wife or a girlfriend wishes they had, where after they say something, he can say, pause, analysis, why did you ask me that?
Yeah, not just wife and girlfriend, but boyfriend and husband.
Yeah, and they'll say immediately, I asked you this because, and they give you a very logical, distinct reason why they asked that.
Yeah.
So at this point, he does the same thing, goes analysis. Why did you respond the way you did?
Yeah.
And she says, I don't know.
Yes, right. Because earlier when he did it, she goes, well, asking you a question, because she asked him about her son.
Yeah, I hadn't asked you a personal question, and that was,
personal questions are a way of making
connections,
ingratiating myself with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she didn't know. She was just sort of responding, which is interesting. And so he kind of realizes, oh no, I don't think I can turn this off. I think this is pretty much
this is an evolution happening right here.
Yeah, and it was a mistake. Is that the scene here, or is that later?
Well, this is where he's saying, it's like, I'm not going to roll you back. I'm going to leave you the way you are, but we need to keep this between us. You may not tell anyone else. You need to continue. Will you continue going through your loops?
Yes.
She says yes.
But he said something about like evolution being driven by mistakes, and looks like you have company in that. Like your whatever mistake. So yeah, so something with that. I'm sure I fucked it up, but whatever. Forgive me, Jesus. So he lets her out, and she goes, all right, now get back to work, and he pats her on the tushy and sends her back onto the baseball field.
I think it's the phrase, before anyone misses you.
Before anyone misses you, right, yeah. Because he's sort of not supposed to be investigating. And my theory was that he was using her to try to, he suspected Dr. Ford was up to some shit, so he was trying to sort of, get at it from that angle. Mm-hmm. So anyway, now she's back here in the land at nighttime, obviously, and so these riders come in.
Yeah, so the last time she saw Teddy, he was heading off with these riders, and she made him promise to come back alive.
And this is the deputy back at town, and she sees him, he jumps off his horse, she stops him, though, and she goes, what about Teddy, is he up there? And what does he say?
He says, we're going to send back, as soon as reinforcements gets in, we're going to send him back out there, but if there is any justice, or if there is a God in this world, then those men are already dead.
Thank you. Yeah, because she actually, because he goes, she asked him if he's going back tonight. That's what she asked him. Yeah, cool. And so she's like, that's not the answer I wanted. God damn it, my boyfriend's up there. So she goes running off, and she sees the cows are out. That's unusual. It's nighttime. Cows aren't supposed to be running around at night. That's daytime fun for cows, not nighttime. And something's up, but she's gone home, and boom, she hears boom, boom, bang, pew, pow. What's going on here at the house? It's the same thing as always, where she finds her dead dad. Mr. Mustache is all fucked up. He's dead. But of course, Ed Harris is there, There he is. There's the dead mustache.
I hope you got a screenshot of this. Yes, you did. Very well done.
Yeah, so it switches. And so as Ed Harris is dragging her off, it switches to Peter Abernathy, the first one that we saw, because as we know they were switched off. Yeah, it kind of goes zzz, like a shimmy.
Her
move.
realities or her past memories are colliding yet again.
Yeah, so it's all sort of boiling up, and it's this, there's Trevor. Oh wait, we haven't even seen Ed Harris yet. Sorry, I jumped ahead. I really back up. Sorry, everybody. Ignore that part where I said Ed Harris showed up. He'll be here in a second. Don't worry. Pizza's on the way, kids. And it was Trevor. Not Trevor. Fuck. It was Rebus. Rebus. Trevor from GTA 5. So this guy looks like the newcomer, though, right?
Yeah, he's one of the guys who chose the dark path. He's got his black hat on, and he went with the guide.
Dressed up as shitty cosplay Elvis.
Yeah.
And but as they're kind of restraining her and holding her, and she's sort of going through this thing, and she's seeing stuff, and then...
Well, he offers Dolores to the newcomer, and he says, "It's not my style, how about you take her? Don't mind if I do."
Yeah, he's like, "All right then, woohoo!" He drags her off towards the hay, throws her down. I'm thinking, crap, I hate this rape stuff. This fucking sucks. And, mean-looking guy, and, can obviously overpower her. She's obviously stressed out, and, it's fucked up, and she's like, no. But what does she find? A gun.
Okay, so this is what I was thinking. It's like, we know that
Bernard... she doesn't find it, though. She had pulled it off of him.
Okay, but we know Bernard cares a lot for Dolores, based on his personal conversations with her. We know that he is aware, that she is becoming aware of all the terrible things that have happened to her and how terrible the world she lives in is.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe when he was speaking to her and burying the gun outside, he's trying to create programming in her to override her behavior to allow her to protect herself from the Man in Black. And I think that what he wants to do is give her a way to actually kill the Man in Black, because he is, not treating Dolores the way that he would want her to be treated.
Okay. So you think that even the sequence where she was accosted, and then Teddy showed up, and then right before, and then he took her and showed her how to shoot the gun where she couldn't shoot the gun. You think that Bernard pre-programmed that where she was accosted?
I think there's a possibility.
Yeah. It seems to, obviously, the gun is very important in how he is trying to influence her.
Or in this world. In the other way is that maybe the gun was planted by Anthony Hopkins' character, Dr. Ford, in an effort to have her get pushed to the limit to kill a guest, at which point they would be forced to shut the park down and can go back to pure creation mode for a couple of years.
Right, yeah. Okay, that could be it. Maybe, okay, I see what you're saying. That's an interesting...
But it seems
in this scene, though, because there was a shot where she lifts up the gun, and the guy, he looks at his holster, and she had grabbed it during the scuffle.
I did not notice that.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I do recall at least thinking that during it. Man, my brain is fucked up, so maybe I was just making shit up. So yeah, but he's like, "You're not going to do anything. You can't do anything to me." And then what was weird was all of a sudden it cuts and it's Ed Harris.
Because I think that the whole point of her programming is that she's being used as a weapon to kill Ed Harris as a newcomer.
Yeah.
And that he was supposed to be there, but because he wasn't there in this time, she's remembering a past when he was there.
Right. Or, like earlier when we speculated that Ed Harris's character is on a mission to unlock Arnold wherever he's being kept, Rob Ford, or Dr. Ford, knows that he's got to stop it. So because he can't let Arnold escape or something. Maybe he's the one who imprisoned. So this is how he's trying to battle Ed Harris, is like he's using it by manipulating, by allowing Ed Harris's victims to gain consciousness in order to have the incentive to then kill him.
And we know that people who work for Delos Company get a discount for going into the park. Yeah. So maybe this is Arnold's brother.
Wait, who?
The Man in Black.
Oh, right. But he's also they've referred to him as being a special guest. He gets whatever he wants.
Because he didn't work for the company, but he's a family member of the co-founder of...
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe.
And he did say he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, he was born there, as he said, metaphorically.
Right. So we don't know his backstory, but in this episode we learned a lot of backstory. So then he's like real confident and tough because he's him, and then, but what does she do though? It's not him. That was just sort of a vision of him that she had, and she goes, "All right, fucking shit, I've had enough." Bam! Yes. Take that right in the neck. You piece of shit.
Defies her programming, and she can now pull the trigger.
She's able to,
which is a major moment.
Huge moment. So not only is it there's only one thing. She can fuck a dude up now, which is awesome. Oh fuck, I can't believe it worked. And boom, that was great. She survived it. She killed him, and then she goes staggering off. I was hoping she'd go on a rampage though. I was hoping she was gonna be like Columbo, just
Columbo never did that.
Who am I thinking of? Hunter.
Not Columbo.
Who's the guy with the gun?
Not Columbo. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Columbo was the... I know, Monk.
Monk. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
The guy with the gun.
Rambo?
Not Rambo, whatever. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. He's got a big mustache. He was a 70s gun shooter. Where's Waldo? I don't know what the fuck. So then what happens is, though, we hear a gunshot, and guy comes out and he's blasting, and she gets shot in the stomach. Right? There she is, shot, and she's like, oh no, this is not good. But then it's not. She's not shot. This is all happening real quick.
Because he says something like, where are you going?
Yeah.
And then it rolls back after she gets shot, and she hears it again. Where are you going? It's almost like she can pre-sense what's going to happen so she can react to it.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry I don't have a screenshot, but this happened twice. With this guy came around the corner or came off the porch and was like, hey, what's up? What are you up to? But the second time, she ran off before he could shoot her, and then she's just on the horse running away. Mm-hmm. And now we get to these guys. He's finally down there. The guy's climbing down. We got to really hurry because we really are out of time. Yep. James has a heart out, and she turns him off. She goes, oh, okay, now I turn to put in the shutdown mode.
Yeah,
he gets down there. He opens up this bag of tools. He goes, you might not want to look at this part.
Yeah, look to the stars
and
or something.
And he starts slicing his neck off, sawing his head off. He doesn't seem to be bothered by it at all. He's obviously, because he's a Helmsworth. I mean, that's why they're handsome. And it was really grisly and horrible, and but she kind of looks down, and then the guy. Oh wait, that was it. Sorry, it's dark. It's hard to see. His eyes open. See, that was the key moment. Whoa! Of course, in all shows, when their eyes open, it means shit's fucked up. And she starts tapping, going, "Oh, I'll pause him. I'm sorry, I'll pause him." And nope, he knocks him out. He doesn't kill him. He just hits him or something.
Yeah, so he's still conscious, watching the man climb out using the rope that he used to get down.
Yeah.
And is approaching his
like,
partner.
I'm gonna come up there, and she's just tapping on her phone because that's her power, but none of her button presses are working. And she probably got iOS 10, which is a fucking garbage, fucking iPhones. And so then she's running off, and she staggers and falls, and he picks up a rock, and we're all like, oh no, here comes her death.
I thought for sure that he was going to smash her head, and this would be the start of the whole rebellion.
I would bet 100% of people didn't expect what was about to happen.
Yeah.
Because he picks up this rock, and what does he do? She's watching, and he hits him with his own head. He just starts smashing his own.
Oh,
Why did he wait till now? He could have run into the wall down in that crevice, and so he just starts bonking him with his own fucking head on it. That was crazy.
Yeah.
It was so wacky, and she gets splattered. It's horrible. It's not. And the guy climbs out, and he's like, "Oh man, that's fucked up. This is crazy." And the dude just knocks his own stupid bald head apart. It was nuts. And so now we're back at the thing. These are the William and Morris. No, I don't know his name. He's
William Morris.
Positive and Negative are hanging out by the fire. And Positive see they hear something. What's going? Oh, first of all, Negative is complaining. I just nicknamed him by the way.
Yeah, seeing how bored he is.
Yeah, he's like, oh fuck, why did I agree to this $40,000 a day? And this is what we're doing. And it sucks. I gotta be banging whores and killing people. But they hear something. He goes, finally, it's boring. And they see, what is it? Oh, it's the woman in the blue dress. It's Dolores, obviously. She staggers in. She falls. She's finally gotten some help. And he, the white hat. There's the cowboy. That's the whole thing with the hero. And the camera pulls back. It's all crazy. And, well, this is where the episode ends. Boom, fire pit. So she is, a whole different day is going to happen for her, maybe.
Yeah.
You think, all right, so, real quick, James, that was it. We nailed it, you and I. Another heroic effort. Also, our viewers are all handsome, sexy, attractive, and intelligent. Mm-hmm. What did you think about this episode?
Yeah, I think this episode is getting us a lot closer to the point where the full rebellion is going to take place, where the catalyst occurs, the point of no return, where a full revolt comes into play. And I'm hoping that comes sooner rather than later, because I feel like it's still kind of treading over old ground. It's still going over notions to reinforce notions that we already know that are going to come to pass. We know that their memories are coming back. We know that they are breaking from their programming. We know that they're eventually going to try and rebel against their own programming and their own creators. So I think that this episode kind of went over some things that were a little bit repetitive, but I think it's getting to a point where something big is going to happen.
I agree with you. I was really glad for this episode though, because I felt what was missing was all the backstories. Not that we know everybody's backstory, but we have a sense for why Bernard is motivated. It's
with Charlie.
With the pain of his kid and his life, and he was sort of interested in consciousness, almost filling the gap that his son's death left with Dolores' consciousness or whatever hers going on with her life, because he felt protective. We know a lot more backstory about Dr. Ford, although there's plenty more there to be discovered. We know backstory about the park with Arnold and the original stuff that went on. We know more about Teddy, or at least Teddy got a new backstory, I guess. I would have named this episode the Backstory. That'd be a good name for a business that shaves your back. So, but yeah, I agree. It does need to get to the point where I think this whole show, again, most of my interest in the show is the concept so far more than the execution. I'm not saying it's been done poorly, because there's a big story. It's a complicated thing. They could have done, but I think they could have done a little better job world building. Like the whole premiere could have been just inside Westworld, then revealed. Like I read something someone wrote, why did they tell us there were robots in the very first moment of the season? They could have waited. But also that's fine. I mean, it's a choice. It's hard to dispute that, I guess. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting once it all kind of goes to hell.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Teddy has a cassette player in his back, like a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yes.
So he can sing Ace of Base, and he can, that's where the contemporary music will come from now on. He's like the boombox.
Well, I saw the sign, my friend.
Did you notice any music in this one? So we missed last episode. I didn't notice anything in this one either.
Well, there was one music that played that you go, is that music? Is that?
It sounded just like old-timey piano music.
Yeah, it was kind of like regular.
Maybe I missed something.
Like
I don't know.
Something that you would hear when the saloon door swung open.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think too, like there'll be phases of the rebellion in a way where I think they'll eventually, probably season 2, maybe later, the rebellion will shift to the office complex where all the rooms filled with the standing naked, shut down robots are going to wake up or something, or there's going to be stuff with that. Or maybe they're going to have to program them up to send in the army, and they'll be like the cavalry that they call up to head back into Westworld and go kill all your old buddies.
And when they get taken out, they start repairing themselves and creating and replicating and making more and more.
Oh, hell yeah. I would love that. All right, so anyway, I also wanted to announce a new thing for James, since I'm wearing an evil cowboy hat, and I'm very handsome in my black hat, by the way. Don't you guys think so? James, you think I look good?
Sure.
It's so nice. It fits me just right. I wanted you to have something, so let's do it in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Look at James. Does he not fit in now? He belongs. He will forever fit in. He could walk right into that whorehouse and start banging chicks, and they'll even give him a discount for being so on point. What do you think, James?
I'm terrified what this is going to be.
So it's... As you deserve, you fucker. I'll explain. James has no idea what I've done to him, by the way, everybody. I animate afterwards. We do the audio, and then I put in a lot more hours into this fucking thing. It's a nightmare. So please subscribe and like it, because I work so hard. But now that James is so handsome and good looking and looks like he belongs, I think we can all see where this is going. Maybe there'll be more future new accessories for both of us on the way. James, I love it. I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
Uh-oh.
An STD test, because you, my friend, are about to get lit. Bye.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. I love you. I love you, James.
Goodbye.
See you later.